Well, good morning, everyone. David Paul speaking from VectorVest UK. Markets are still falling, folks, as you know, and there's been an awful lot of angst in the air. Markets are mega oversold, but the trends on both sides of the Atlantic are down. So let's just have a look at the VectorVest composite of the UK. This is a composite measure of the UK market. It comprises an equally weighted measure of the 2,000 plus shares that we follow on the UK market. And the composite is shown by the candle chart that you can see. I hope that you can see the red and the green triangles. Those are our longest measure of the trend of the UK market. And as you can see, at the moment, there's a red triangle in force, saying that the longest term measure of the trend turned down about 10 days ago. A medium term measure of the trend has been down pretty much since the last top halfway through February. We're advising clients to sit on their hands at the moment and wait for a turn. As you can see down below the price, we have our proprietary momentum indicators. One's called the market timing indicator, and the other one is called the buy-sell ratio, which is the breadth of a market. And both those are recording mega oversold conditions. So while the trend is still down, it's well stretched to the downside. Any move up, and certainly a buy signal from the price action, which is preceded by such a oversold technical reading, we should see a nice move up here. But the reality of the situation going into the trading day is that the trends are down. And in the US, we've got exactly the same thing. We've got, I think you can see the US composite, which is a composite measure of 8,000 plus shares that we follow in the US markets. And again, the red and the green triangles, and the longest term measure of the trend on VectorVest US turned down, well, in the middle of February, and that's still, in fact, down. Again, the momentum indicators are in a mega oversold condition. So bottom fishing, people who like to bottom fish are getting their watch list ready. And at VectorVest, we have a proprietary methodology for bottom fishing for those people with the strength to do that very aggressive type of trading. If you actually look at the American markets and split them into three bits, which would be tech, cyclicals, and staples. And if you actually look at those three, you can see that over the last little while, it's been tech that's been holding the US market up, because over the last week, European markets have tanked, but the S&P 500, for example, has been sitting around that 4,000 level, hasn't really moved at all. And it's been tech that's been holding that up. Now, this is the QQQ, which is an exchange traded fund that follows the NASDAQ 100. And as you can see, it actually charted a treble bottom. It moved up from the treble bottom, but then charted a textbook bull flag pattern and has broken out of that bull flag pattern. So tech looking very strong across there. Charts such as Netflix, for example, looking quite strong for a swing trade not long over the next couple of days. But the overall market certainly is down, and the sentiment is fragile. In the UK, well, I've been blogging, and if you go to vectorvest.co.uk, click on blog, and I've written up quite a few shares over the last month or so, and I've got them here in this presentation, but you'll get a much more detailed analysis if you actually go to the blog. So vectorvest.co.uk, and then you'll see blog. Just click on the blog and you'll find it. This is MSI, defense stock. Moved up in very, very strong volume. As you can see, the blue line below the price is earnings per share, and it's now pulling back in a classical bull flag pattern. It's on a sell signal on VectorVest. It's below its stop loss, but to me, it's pulling back on falling volume and any strength there, and I think that'll move up significantly. So two things we need to happen there. We need to break the top line defining the bull flag, and secondly, the general market needs to show us a little bit of confidence, a little bit of green. So a time for waiting, but that looks very good indeed. This is 4, and 4's had a really good run over the last few days. That's a stock that I've been holding personally since November, when it broke out of, again, that bull flag pattern. And although it's moved a long way, at VectorVest, our measure of the future over the next 3 years shows that there's plenty of gas in the tank for Imprint. And some very, very encouraging results, mostly coming out of US markets. Although it's UK listed, it's a UK company doing a huge amount of business in the US. So that's 4. Still looks good. Brook, it's above 50. I think it can go to 55 to 60 quite easily. Now this is Beasley. Now Beasley, the market didn't like what it put out a couple of weeks ago, and it's pulled back to a real gift of a support level. And as you can see, earnings per share are rising. And over the last, I think, 2 years of that chart, the price has pulled away from that long-term trend line, and then pulled back to a confluence of the trend line and the previous old high, and found strong support there. So I think that Beasley, this looks like a really good level to consider an opportunity in Beasley when the market shows some strength. And then Airtel Africa. Airtel Africa has pulled back significantly with the market over the last year. And it's sitting, making a treble, maybe a quadruple bottom at the 62% retracement. I think there's a lot of danger that it can get to that 78% retracement, which is a previous, would be a confluence of an old high, as you can see. But the growth here is quite compelling. I put on the MACD indicator, which is showing strong and marked reverse divergence, which invariably precipitates a good move. So a very, very good level to, in fact, buy into Airtel Africa to actually get a handle on some of that growth, which I think is coming in their markets. It's a bit early. We need to wait for clearly the share to break up a little bit, and clearly for the general market to show that a bottom is in. Nevertheless, 4 stocks that I think have got a great deal of potential when we see some strength, when we see a little bit of confidence come back into the overall market. So if you want to read the detail of those, if you go to vectorvest.co.uk, and then just click on the blog tab at the top, and I've done a reasonable analysis of all 4 of those companies for you to have a look at. While you were there, you could take a 30-day trial of VectorVest for £5.95, and you can find these opportunities for yourself. Okay, so over the next month, we've got a busy show schedule. We'll be at Master Investor in Islington on April 15th. And then towards the end of April, we'll be at IAX, the IAX show at the Connaught Rooms in Covent Garden on Saturday the 29th. But hopefully I'll be back on Core Finance before that, and I can give you a heads up on those. So if you're around Islington and London, April the 15th, look forward to seeing you. Thanks very much.